Donald John Trump, the peace president? Then why's he picking fights with the Pope?
Hold up, this is the peace president. The man who campaigned like he was gonna end wars, lower the temperature, and be America's giant orange fire extinguisher. Yeah, the same that begged for the Nobel Peace Prize, except now he's beefing with the Pope.
Not Congress, not cable news, not even Iran first. Now, the Pope, and not just a little disagreement either.
Trump publicly blasted Pope Leo XIV as weak on crime, terrible for foreign policy, and very liberal.
So the peace president saw the Vicar of Christ say, "Maybe don't do war," and replied, "Actually, let me start another one."
When did the Pope become the standard for crime, foreign and liberalism?
But what set him off? You know Despot Donnie, Melania make a statement, it's a Epstein distraction.
Here's what triggered it. Pope Leo criticized the war and called out the mentality behind it as a delusion of omnipotence.
He also said Trump's threat to destroy Iranian civilization was truly unacceptable.
Translation. The Pope said, maybe don't talk like a supervillain.
And Despot Donnie felt guilty and took that personally.
Pope didn't call names. Of course he did, because if your whole brand is, I am the strong one, I alone bring peace, then a global religious leader saying, this isn't peace, this is madness, kinda wrecks the costume. Exactly. The Pope framed peace as diplomacy, restraint, and moral responsibility. Trump's version looks more like, peace is when everybody is scared of me.
That's not peace. That's a mob boss Hallmark card. And then, somehow, it got weirder.
Because after attacking Pope Leo, Trump shared an AI-generated image of himself depicted as Jesus Christ, or at minimum, as a saint-like miracle figure, depending on the outlet.
AP described it as an image implying saint-like powers. Other reports described it more directly as Trump as Jesus.
So let me get this straight. He attacks the Pope, then posts himself like discount messiah on the internet? That is, unfortunately, the timeline. Dude, you cannot call yourself the peace candidate while rage posting holy cosplay after getting corrected by the Pope.
And remember, this wasn't even the first AI religion post. Reuters reported that in May 2025, Trump also posted an AI-generated image of himself as the Pope before the conclave. So now we've got Pope Trump, Jesus Trump, what's next? Burning Bush Trump announcing tariffs from Sinai? This is why critics say the peace president label is branding, not behavior. He campaigned as the anti-war guy, but when the Pope condemned war and demanded peace, Trump attacked the messenger instead. Trump thinks he's God, that's the tell right there. If you really stand for peace, you don't melt down when someone says, choose peace. From a child, he has thought of himself as the chosen one. Pope Leo's response was basically, I'm not afraid of Trump, and I'm going to keep speaking for peace because that's what the gospel requires. Sad, and that makes Despot Donnie look even smaller. Because the Pope is talking about human suffering, diplomacy, and bloodshed. And Trump is busy subtweeting like a guy who got unfollowed by heaven. So no, this doesn't look like a peace presidency. It looks like a man who sold peace on the campaign trail, then attacked the Pope for noticing the war. And when the criticism landed, he didn't calm things down. He escalated, with insults, ego, and an AI holy card starring himself. That's not peacemaker energy, that's main character syndrome in a halo filter. And if the Pope saying, stop the war, makes you this mad?
Maybe the peace was always just the packaging. Hit subscribe if you're tired of being sold peace by people who act allergic to it. Because when the Pope says, choose peace, and the president answers with a holy selfie meltdown, that's not leadership, that's content.